What is going on, guys? Lone PC Gamer here, and as promised in the last video, I am bringing you guys a Firebird's wizard build, and this build in particular is the top tier build in Greater Rifts in Diablo 3 at the moment. This is after patch 2.1, so keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and showcase off. Let's do the stats first. Let's go unbuffed, then buffed. Right now we have bonus damage to elites, 84%, which is very good. Attacks per second, which doesn't really matter because we're going to be casting Blizzard, and it takes quite a bit of arcane power to cast Blizzard anyway, so that doesn't make any difference. Attack speed makes no sense on this build whatsoever, so you're not going to be worrying about that, even though the sheet damage on your rings or whatever you get with attack speed will show an increase in damage. It doesn't actually matter for this build. Crit chance, crit damage. Pretty much with any build, you want that to be a 1 to 10 ratio. You want, or on any class in particular, you want crit chance to be about 45% or above. 50, anything above 50 is just overkill. You don't need that. And critical hit damage, you want to be 440 effectively. If you stay true to my words, but we have 417% right now. Area damage 23%, fine. Cooldown reduction is 4.8. I would like that to be higher, simply for my black hole and my teleport, but that is fine for now. It works. This build works. So fire damage increase is 75%, 1.8 mil fire DPS. Resistances are okay. We got 1200 to 1600 unbuffed right now. Let's see here. Life per hit is 8k. That's strictly from my Paragon points. Let's go ahead and, well, we can see our sheet damage. 1 mil, 61,000. Toughness is 8.3. Let's buff our stuff up. So we got 1.16 mil damage sheet and 12.1 toughness. Our fire damage now is 2,043,000, which is great. Our resistances here bumped up to 1,500 to 2,000, so that's good as well. That's with my magic weapon and my energy armor. So let's go ahead and take a look at the items in this build here. We'll start from the top, go through the middle, and go on each side. So this is the Firebird set, and that's really, I mean, some other builds run other sets along with it, like Blackthorns, like I'm doing now, or like Veers or Tals or something. I suppose Tals would be a good alternative to Blackthorns if you're able to actually get it. But let's go ahead and take a look at our helm here. We got the Firebird's Plume. Now this is a decent helm. The crit chance, I obviously can reroll to 6 if I wanted to, you know, spend the time, which I probably should, even though it's only 1% increase. I got int, vit, crit damage, or crit chance, excuse me. With a socket, I have 23% life. I have amethyst gem put into there, which is okay. You can swap that out for cooldown reduction if you find that your toughness is up there, which in most cases you want life for a wizard because they tend to be squishy. The chest piece here is a Firebird's breast. I got intelligence, percent life, armor. I like that percent. I would like int, vitality, life percent, and armor effectively. And I got the 3 socket on here with int gems put into it. I got my Blackthorn's belt here, int, vit, percent life, armor, and a little bonus there, lightning resist, 34% extra gold for monsters, which is really no big thing for me right now. I'm sitting at 464 mil, so that's good. The Firebird's down the pants. I got int, vit, regenerates life. It's good to have a little bit of healing here and there. It seems how you are squishy, but that obviously could be swapped out for, you know, percent life if I hadn't already rolled for vit, because some of these pieces were kind of crap rolls when I got them. So, but this is what I'm running right now. I obviously will find upgrades in the future, but this is what I have with a 2 socket with int gems in it. For the boots, I got Firebird's Tarsi, int, vit, armor, and disintegrate. This disintegrate I don't use. I should probably re-roll that off for something. I don't know what. I don't think there was anything viable. So I just kept it as is. I got the secondary lightning resistance on there, which is good. Let's go ahead and take a look at these shoulders. These shoulders are definitely crap, man. I would like something like int, vit, percent life, and cooldown, or blizzard damage, rather. One or the other. But this is what I got, so this is what I'm using. So that completes the Firebird's 6-piece set. I have 5 pieces to that. And the 6th set bonus says dealing fire damage causes the enemy to take the same amount of damage over 3 seconds, stacking up to 3,000% weapon damage as fire per second. After reaching 3,000% damage per second, the enemy will burn until they die. So once you reach that 3,000% weapon mark, it's just constant dots at 3,000% weapon damage as fire every single second. That's what gives this build the damage. That's why you want this build for a wizard, because it's right now the highest damage dealing build out there. Gloves, I have Mage Fist, and these are decent. I have Trifecta. I'd actually like ones with 20% fire, obviously int. I'd like the attack speed to be off of there and rolled for cooldown or something else. But crit damage is good. Crit chance on here is good. 50 and 9.5, not bad. Ring of Royal Grandeur. Obviously, you're gonna need this unless you actually want to run the full 6-piece set, and then in which case you could run a better ring with better stats. But I got int, attack speed, which is whatever, crit hit chance, and I got a socket in here. I'm running the Z Stone of Vengeance. It's only rank 6. I'm still ranking up my stuff. But that gem there says that the more distance I put between me and the target, the more damage they take from all of my skills. 4.3% for every 10 yards between you and the enemy hit, maximum of 21.5% at 50 yards. Those blue numbers will go up as the rank of the gem increases. Let's take a look at our weapon here. Now this is very good. I've actually found a furnace. 9% damage. I'm trying to get 10 on that. I'm going to have to go back and re-roll that for the extra 1%, but it will make a slight difference. The big thing on this is the increased elite damage, 44% just off this one item with a socket on there, giving me crit hit damage increase by 130. The sheet damage on this could be a little higher, but it's a furnace and it's great. The max roll for the elite damage is 50%, in case you were wondering. Let's go ahead and take a look at our amulet here. To go along with our belt, we have Black Thorns in our Ring of Royal Grandeur. This gives us the 3-piece, increased damage against elites by 10, reduces damage from elites by 10. Fire skills 20, int. I got 93% crit damage and 8.5% crit chance, so this is a good amulet. No socket though, so it's going to be hard to top this. It's going to be hard for me to find one with a socket that I can actually use effectively. Our bracers here, strong arm bracers. Now this is very good because your black hole does count as a knockback. I got fire damage on here, int, fit, crit chance 5%, and it says enemies hit by knockbacks like my black hole suffer 25% more damage for 5 seconds when they land. So when they're all dotted up and you cast your black hole, they get sucked in and they get 25% extra damage from your dots. So that's pretty cool. My second ring here is a Stone of Jordan, 18% fire, int. Crit damage 44, damage against elites 30%. Some people would swap this out for a Unity for the 50% damage reduction if your follower was wearing one with the relic that says he cannot die. So that's what I'm wearing right here. I don't like the Unity. I don't like. I think it's kind of overpowered, but it's necessary for higher, greater rifts. So if I'm ever going to be doing that, I definitely will be running the Unity. But for what I'm doing now, I don't. So that's my gear. Let's go ahead and take a look at the skills necessary for this build. For my left click, I got Blizzard. Obviously, the Blizzard is what is used by a lot of wizards that run this build, this Firebird set. I don't think there's one out there that doesn't run this. But Blizzard says, call down Molten Rock that deal 1,075% weapon damage. Just fire over 6 seconds to enemies within 30 yards. Multiple casts in the same area from this spell do not stack, so keep that in mind. So that's 1,000% towards our 3,000% from our Firebird set. So that's good to have there. That's why we use that. Got my alarm on my phone going off. There we go. My right click is teleport, just to get me out of sticky situations. That's it. The rune that I put on here is Wormhole, and I can cast it again within 3 seconds. So I can, teleport and then teleport again if it's like just a really bad situation. I forgot to tell you the rune on the Blizzard. I have Apocalypse, obviously fire, to go along with our fire build, and the area of effect to Blizzard is increased by 30 yards. There's actually, you could probably, I wouldn't recommend swapping it out, but you could, I guess. But if you run a fire rune, it changes the cold damage to fire. It goes with any skill. Alright, so my hotkey number 1 is Magic Weapon with Ignite. Magic Weapon increases my damage by 10%, lasts 10 minutes. Ignite says attacks have a chance to burn enemies, dealing 300% weapon damage as fire over 3 seconds. So that kind of adds a little bit to our 3,000% max, but just for the 10% damage increase is nice. Hotkey number 2 is Black Hole for the knockback from our strong arm bracers, and they get sucked in and it deals 700% weapon damage as arcane over 2 seconds, but we have the Blazar rune on there dealing 700% weapon damage as fire over 2 seconds to all enemies within 15 yards. After it disappears, an explosion for 725% weapon damage is actually cast as fire. So this is all adding up to our 3000%. That is hotkey number 2. Hotkey number 3 is Hydra. Now you can and you don't have to run Hydra. You can run something else like Meteor maybe, but I recommend Hydra. It seems to do the most amount of damage, and a lot of people tend to use Blazing Hydra for, you know, fireballs going directly to enemies, but I like to run the Mammoth Hydra because it deals more damage. But the Hydra says summon a multi-headed Hydra for 15 seconds. It attacks enemies with bolts of fire, dealing 195% weapon damage as fire. Now the rune here says I summon the Hydra, dealing 400% weapon damage as fire per second to enemies caught on the burning ground. And what that does is when you cast it, it goes in a straight line towards an enemy, and any enemy caught in that line actually gets damaged. My hotkey number 4 here is Energy Armor. Energy Armor says focuses your energy, increasing armor by 35% for the toughness here, because wizards tend to be squishy, so this actually helps out quite a bit. It lasts 10 minutes. Now the rune I have on here is Prismatic Armor. It's actually an arcane rune, but it doesn't matter. Energy Armor also increases your resistance to all damage types by 25%. So that's what gave us our increase in resistances at the beginning. I don't think there's actually any other... No, it's all arcane. So that's that. Those are my skills, my passives. Now these can vary from build to build, but I recommend always using Conflagration. It says fire damage dealt to enemies applies a burning effect, increasing their chance to be critically hit by 6% for 3 seconds. So the burn effect essentially just adds a dot to them, so that's kind of cool too. And the critical hit by 6% is amazing as well. Astral Presence increases your arcane power by 20 and regeneration by 2.5. You don't have to do this, but I can cast Blizzards quicker, and I can cast one more, I believe, off of this when I run Astral Presence. And rather than Astral Presence, you can run things like, oh, I don't know, Evocation to reduce your cooldowns, or maybe Glass Cannon, but you'll take a hit in toughness on that, but you increase damage by 15%. You can do that. You can also potentially run Audacity, which increases your damage by 15 to all enemies within 15 yards, but I'm running the Z's Stone of Vengeance, so the farther away from the enemies I am, the more benefit I'll have, so I don't use that. I use rather Astral Presence. I tend to like this. My third passive is Illusionist, and I use this simply for teleporting. When you take more than 50% of your maximum life in damage in 1 second, the cooldown of Mirror Image, Slow Time, and Teleport are reset. So my Teleport gets reset, and I can cast it more often. So the cooldown on Teleport doesn't even matter, really. So my fourth passive is Blur, decreased damage by 17%. That's just for damage reduction. Some other things I've seen people run with actually are Elemental Exposure, giving them increased damage. So like you'll have 5% increased damage from fire. And now if you run a weapon with a different element on there rather than fire, I do have fire. If it was cold though, that would be 5% from that and then 5% from fire, so it would actually stack. A lot of people don't know that. Unwavering Will is a thing for resistances. Your armor is 20% all res, 20% damage, 10%. That's kind of cool. So you can run that as well. There's many different choices here. It's all a preference to you, but I recommend Conflagration, Illusionist for getting out of sticky situations for sure. So that is the build. I think I forgot to tell you guys about one more gem. No, I only have one gem on this character, so that's fine. So let's go ahead, buff ourselves back up. We're on T6, by the way. We're just going to go to, I don't know, the Weeping Hollow. I like Weeping Hollow just to showcase some stuff off. So we got our follower here with the Maximus, which really doesn't do much, but it's a thing. So I'm just going to kind of find a couple packs here. Not necessarily elites, but just to kind of showcase. Like Black Hole, Blizzard, dots are applied. The further you are away from them with that gem, the more damage it'll give you. Throw down a Hydra. Just rinse and repeat. Lay down your dots, run away, and then they just melt. And they'll keep burning if you have that max 3000% damage on them. They'll burn until they die. So that's pretty cool. Where's the density in this, man? Where's the T6 density? It's an elite pack, so we'll kill him. We have 84% increased damage against elites right now. And that guy's kind of stuck there for whatever reason. not going to complain. So I get farther away because of my gem, and they just blow up. They just die. And I'll try to show off the teleport thing. Okay, let's use up our teleport, see how it's on cooldown. I'll try to stay in range. See, teleport's back up because I took some damage. I can do it again. That's why I run Illusionist. So if you're running Greater Rifts or Rifts in general and you're finding yourself to be kind of squishy, that's a good thing to run. Get yourself out of there. Let your dots do some of the work. Get back in there and reapply them if they wore off or you didn't apply enough to begin with. You just kind of stand back and just watch everything die. It's kind of cool. Alright guys, so that concludes my Firebird's Wiz showcase, the build and what you want to be looking for. Obviously, you know, things are going to be changing. I'm going to get some upgrades. Things will be better in the future. I like to have sockets in my AME and my other ring, of course. Get some gems in there. The gems I recommend using would be, for this build in particular, would be the Sea Stone of Vengeance, the Bane of the Powerful, and the third one is completely up to you. Maybe a pet gem for your Hydra, because Hydras do count as pets, so they would do quite a bit of damage as well. I might actually try out the other rune for Hydra if I were to actually get a ring or an ammo with a socket in it, and I can test that out and let you guys know which one I like the most. But that is my Firebird's Wizard build, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if this helped you out, please hit the like button below, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.